What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of What If. Uh, I know spooky season is over, but I'm not ready to let it go. Yes, Halloween was last week, and it's time to start watching the movies about the C word, but I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to let it go. So, right here on What If, I'm not going to let it go. And I hope you join me as we take a trip into the further. If you got that reference, you know exactly what today's What If episode is all about. And please let me know in the comments how awesome you think this would be, because I think this is a hit right here. But then I'm a horror guy. I really like this franchise. I'm trying to do a video and the puppy's over here chasing her tail like a crazy dog. Uh, but we're talking about the Insidious franchise. Um, now, I have some specific figures that I think should be made for this franchise. Um, and good gracious, she's going crazy, y'all. Honestly, I'm thinking the best right now. The best studio the best company I think to make these would be Mcfarlane. I know he's busy with DC and all that, but a trip back to the horror section for Uncle Todd would be very awesome. So you've got we're talking Insidious franchise. We're talking Mcfarlane figures. Um, we've got 6 demons. Okay, and there's some other characters that we'll get into in a minute. 6 demons over the course of 5 movies, and I'm aware there's others, but these are the main ones. Okay. And we've got Insidious, Insidious Chapter 2, Insidious Chapter 3, Insidious The Last Key, and Insidious The Red Door. So we've got a 5-film franchise, and to my knowledge, we have not broken into this line of figures. And I'm telling you right now, next week's episode, it just hit me, and I'm still staying in spooky mode. But anyways, more about that next week. So the first of the demons, we're going to go with the long-haired fiend, also known as the ghoul. He is seen in Insidious 1, 2, and 3. Not a lot, but enough. He is a very scary looking character. I think would be a very fun figure. But very, very much a good one to be a figure. So the long-haired fiend, he's featured in 3 movies, so definitely would be a good candidate for a figure, right? Then the next one, and this Insidious Chapter 2 didn't hit quite as hard as the other one, but still enjoyable. We've got the Bride in Black from Chapter 2. I still think would make a good figure. Yes, he was Bride in Black's technically not a girl. It's a dude dressed as a bride, but creepy nonetheless. Think it would make a killer figure. I really do. I mean, just take a look at the picture there off to my side. I mean, definitely, I think a good figure. Following that up, we go back to the first one, and I think she was in more than one, but we see her for the first time in the first one, Inside the Further, and we're talking about Doll Girl. I do think my memory is fading right now. I do think she's been seen in more than just the first movie, but very much a good figure, a creepy story that goes with her. Most of these guys have a creepy story though. That's something that could be added to these though. Your card backs, if we want to go carded, a bio for each one. Even if we're not going carded, uh, a good story on the back of the box. Either way, adds to these figures tremendously. So Doll Girl. Next up, we go to Insidious Chapter 3. And we're talking about the Wheezing Demon. I think there's another name for him. But from my research, we mostly just see him called the Wheezing Demon. This one, you would definitely want some info on the card back or the box back about this. With this dude, really not cool. Like he's one of the worst ones, to be perfectly honest. The way he does people is pretty bad. Um, so the Wheezing Demon from Insidious Chapter 3, and look how creepy. Again, I think very toyetic. All of these demons very toyetic. So the Wheezing Demon from Chapter 3. Then we go to the Last Key. The Last Key, we have the Key Bearer Demon, okay? Also known as Key Face, for obvious reasons. Also a pretty wicked demon. Yeah. Again, this would be a great figure. And I have to say it, the Todd Father, man, would be the one to do these. We've seen the things that Mcfarlane can do. Um, you know, the DC figures are great, but the horror stuff, hey, that's where the bread and butter is. Let's get Todd to bring the Insidious and get back into horror. I think that'd be a great thing. But I've left out the best for last, probably the creepiest one for last. The Key Bearer, also known as Key Face from Last Key, pretty creepy, pretty scary. All of these are very creepy and scary, but the very last one, he is present in all 5 films. He's the main antagonist in the first one and the 5th one, and we're talking the Lipstick Face Demon. And this one right here, how could this not be a great action figure? Yeah, the lipstick. I mean, just look at it. Absolutely a scary demon. None of these you can really go look at and go, oh, that one's not too scary. The Insidious movies had some scary demons. Not gonna say they're the greatest series of all time. I'm not on that soapbox. I do love the franchise though. It's got its low points. All franchises do. Star Wars Last Jedi. I'm not going to name any names though, but all franchises have a low point. But I would jump up for joy if this happened. But let's say this happened, right? So we've got all these demons. We haven't talked about the human characters. Yes, there's a Josh played by Patrick Wilson. There's Dalton the kid, stuff like that. They don't go, oh, let's make that an action figure. There are 3 characters in the franchise that do. And they are in all 5. And I'm talking about Elise, Tucker, and Specs. This would be a great 3-pack. I'm thinking Target exclusive. It's what if. I'm creating a toy line. I'll do what I want. So Target exclusive 3-pack for their Target Con stuff that they do. Elise, Tucker, and Specs. Look, I told you I'm excited for this one. This would be amazing to have happen. And I can't really think of another company. mainstream company that I would like to see do this other than Mcfarlane. The NECA figures would be amazing. Don't get me wrong. However, 6 demons, $35 a pop. The accessories they would come with, there's not a lot, so that's kind of meh. The Elise Tucker Specs set, there's lots of accessories that set can come with. So that's a good accessory type set. But the demons don't need a lot. If NECA was to do anything, I want them to do the lipstick face demon in the 18-inch scale, to be perfectly honest. If I'm going to have something from NECA from this franchise. But all the demons and the Tucker, Elise, and Specs set from Mcfarlane would be the way to go. The only other company I see doing anything with it would be like Funko Pops. But because it's not an active franchise, I don't see Funko touching it really. So, which is not a big deal. I mean, honestly, I don't see Mcfarlane doing this, but I would love it if they did. Yeah. But that is this week's episode of What If. So what if Mcfarlane Toys released an Insidious line? I'd be all over it. I'll just tell you now. I know I would buy. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Would you buy Insidious Mcfarlane figures? That's going to do it for this one, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you hadn't already, smash that like button. Hit that subscribe. Turn on those notification bells. That way you don't miss a single episode of What If. By the way, great one coming next week. Going to be amazing. And it hit me during this episode. I'm so happy about that. Plus all the other toy and action figure videos I got coming to the channel. If you're into wrestling and wrestling figures, check out my other channel, Gladiator Wrestling Podcast. That's the only type of toys you won't see over here. I keep all my wrestling stuff on the other channel. We do a live podcast every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you love wrestling, come join the show and talk some wrestling with us. That's it for this one. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Gladiator out.